All right, we're going to get started. Before we bring Lisa on, I just want to ask how you all doing? Everyone doing okay? Good, good. We're just so delighted that you're all here, and I don't know if we've expressed our gratitude for spending the day with us and, paying attention and showing up and tuning in and being part of this just magnificent universe we're a part of. So, thank you so very much, for being here. Um, we're going to take it out to the universe now with Lisa Barnett and the Akashic Records. And and then after that, we're going to do a Q&A with Marilyn, Lisa, and Suzanne. And then we're going to close with the goddess. So more to come. So I hope you enjoy. And as you align and transform with your Akashic Records and Lisa Barnett.
I'd rather yell. Thank you. Okay. So happy to be with everyone. And it has been an amazing day, hasn't it? I'm like, wow, I've been wild. I've been loving listening to everybody. So exciting. So really, thank you for spending the day with us. And I'm just going to say, if you didn't get a Kasha yet, I will sign your books later. Anyway, so oh, so much to say, so much to do. So I think I'll start at the beginning in a way, which is what the heck are the Akashic Records and why do I care, right? I think that's been one of the things that I've noticed in the last 30 years that I've been talking about this. And part of the reason is that 30 years ago, really, no one had heard of the Akashic Records. And I had, but I was told that there are these amazing records. You can ask them for some healing energy, but you're not allowed in. That's what my teacher, who was an amazing healer, taught me. So I was like, okay, very cool. I'll go up every day and ask for healing energy for my clients. But I saw a big wrought iron fence in front of that beautiful stone library. So then along the way, as I was being a medical intuitive and healing people, I started getting this big booming voice with this phenomenal information that was like everything, right? It wasn't just what I was working on. It was like, oh, past lives, future, other planes, all this information. And I'd sit there and think, wow, what the heck is that? But it took me about 5 years to actually ask them the question. So I was a little slow on the uptake, I have to say. But eventually I realized this is the Akashic record keeper speaking to me. I didn't think that happened. Well, I was wrong, obviously. And so once I was like, oh, hi, cool. I know who you are kind of a little bit. And why are you talking to me? And what's going on? And I thought you were off limits. And they said, we were off limits. We literally pulled the energy of the Akashic field away from Earth during the Dark Ages. So, about 1,000 years ago, people misused the information that they could receive in this huge, expansive library. They would use it for their own good. And so, instead of, good of humanity. And so they literally said, well, this is not the time for people to have access into this realm. And they pulled the vibration away. So we forgot about it, is pretty much what happened, right? So for about 1,000 years, no one remembered what the heck the Akashic Records were, kind of went into oblivion. And so when they started yelling at me, I said, what can I do? What do you want me to do? And they said, help us re-anchor the energy of the Akash back to Earth. It's time. This is the time. And so what they really said was start doing readings, start a school, write a bunch of books. And I laughed at them and I said, do you realize I have 3 small children? You know, I think you have to find someone else. And they were like, no, you can hear us. You're good. It's okay. And so I basically said, okay, one step at a time. And that was 30 years ago. And one step at a time, you know, here I am, 4 books later, and they're still yelling at me to do more stuff. So the Akashic Records is the recording of your soul's journey through all time space continuum. Everything you've ever been or done, every world, every planet, you know, you're actually all star seeds. Often people will come and say, if I lived on another planet, am I a star seed? It's like, let me tell you, your soul did not come here first. This is the, I want to learn a bunch of weird stuff world. And so we usually hang out in other higher, lovely realms that are so much easier for the soul, right? So you are all star seeds, just in case you were curious. So what happens is that we create, from the moment we individuate from source, everything you have ever been or done. And because there is no time and space, everything you have done in the future, right? Which is always a little hard to kind of grok. I always think, you know, even though I can hang out in that quantum field, it's still hard to imagine or picture or think about. But the phenomenal aspect of the Akashic Records is that you can, of course, go into past lives, heal past trauma, and you can even go into the future. Sometimes remember, reclaim, receive guidance from that self too. Just like you can reclaim gifts and talents, all those gifts you've honed in all these hundreds and hundreds of lives you've lived here on Earth from past. So we can actually access not only, of course, this life, which is super important, but future lives as well as past lives. So future is a little interesting and very different because, as is the past, actually, because the record keepers always say nothing is written in stone. So your past is also malleable. It is rewritable. It is flexible, which sounds a little strange, but that's true. So as is your future. So you may have written something into the future when you were a child, and you don't really want that in your future anymore, right? Sounded like a great idea when I wanted to be a princess, but I think now I want something else, right? So we can call back some of those energies. We can unwrite some of the contracts that no longer serve us. We can kind of deconstruct. And that's what we've been doing, what I have really spent very consciously the last 20 or so years doing, is unwriting, unraveling, and undoing a lot of what we as ancient souls that had a hand in creating this world did and wrote into this world and this plane and these programs. So a little complicated. I'll get over there later. But so your soul is infinite, and everything you have ever been or done is energetically recorded in the Akasha, right? The quantum field. It is all part of source. It is all naturally. It would be kind of like if you had a GoPro strapped to your head, and every day, all day, you know, you were videotaping everything you ever did, and maybe you want to go back and look at that video from 2 days ago, or 10 years ago. The records are the same. That's everything you've been and done, and so that is really useful, I think, for most of us humans, because what we are experiencing in this life is often based on what we have been and done, thought and wanted and desired in those other lives, right? So nothing is random. And so you have a whole library all to yourself because you're really, really, really ancient, right? I always say, I'm going to guess that there is no one in this room who has had less than 600 lives on Earth alone. That's not counting the millions and billions and trillions other places, right? So we really come and we experience and we do it again, and we have short lives and long lives. We have mundane lives and phenomenal lives, right? We're all light workers here to hold the energy, to raise the frequency of the planet, to raise really the vibration of humanity at this point in history. And what I know is that accessing the Akashic Records is profound in supporting that purpose, because you all have that purpose in one way or another. Even when it comes to looking really specifically at people's purposes, again, because 600 plus lives, they tell me I've been here like 1,000 times. I always figure, ugh, I must really be a slow learner if I've lived here that long. But we keep coming back. We keep wanting to help. We keep trying again. We learn something else. We want to hang out with some soul family members. We want to help them learn something else. And so we continue this, what a lot of has been on this planet, karmic, cycles. So in your Akashic Records, you have this huge library. You have a team of a dozen or more record keepers that just keep your records for you. So when I teach my workshops, which I'll be teaching tomorrow, I teach you to access your library, your record keepers, and really be able to start to hone in on the information that is useful for you in your life. Right. So the big kind of pieces in our records are things like soul contracts, right? All the people that we've made contracts with to help them, to learn from them, to teach them, right? So we have all sorts of soul contracts we'll go a little bit further into. We have gifts and talents, which really equal our purpose, right? Your purpose. Well, one of the things the record keepers always say is no one has one purpose. You would be bored out of your mind, which I appreciate. Loving multitasking. I'm like, no, I want to have, 5 purposes at one time until I, explode. My little brain explodes. But we come to, at different stages in our lives, we have different purposes. And again, if you go back to 600 lives, you have honed a lot of gifts and talents, right? You want to use them all. Little hard to do, but we try. So again, I would say that most of us have 4, 5, 6, 8 purposes, kind of depending on, on you. Some people really just come into this beautiful way of, oh, I just want to hold the light. So I'm just going to live this lovely, life where I get to meditate a lot and hang out in nature and, kind of channel those beautiful vibes out into the world, right? So occasionally I meet someone who has kind of one big, lovely, kind of grace-filled purpose. But the other 99% of my clients and students are like frantically trying to do everything they can possibly do to transform the world. I don't know. Anybody feel like you're here to transform the world? All of you? Yeah. Hopefully a lot of you. So otherwise it's not getting transformed, right? So and we're not coming back to try again. No, we're going to do it. It's all good. That's one of the great things I think about having access into stuff like the Akashic Records. The record keepers are like, nope, it's definitely a done deal. You're all going to awaken. It might be 50 years, but, a lot of you are going to awaken over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, right? And then you get to keep helping everybody else awaken. We're not blowing ourselves up, thank heavens. So, we've done that before. And so, so we get to, hone in on some of these gifts and some of these talents. So your record keepers are beautiful beings of light, and they're different than any of the other guides. So they're not ascended masters. They're not someone from another planet or world. A lot of the beings are that get channeled are otherworldly or ancestors or ascended masters or angels. So the interesting thing with the record keepers is that they've never been human. So they can't ascend. They've never they are not in the angelic realm. They have like no judgment and no personality. So the story the record keepers told me, when I first kind of started really conversing with them and asking them a million questions, I'd say, kind of, how does this work? Tell me how this works out. And so they said, well, if you imagine when you individuate from source, and another really lovely thing to know about the record keepers is that they're funny. So they tell us a lot of kind of funny or silly stories. So the story they told me was, imagine source is a high-rise building in Manhattan. Really? I'm a Californian. I don't know why you're using Manhattan. But anyway, apparently another lifetime I was there. So I say, imagine you individuate from source, you and 25 of your new soul family hop in an elevator, right? You're born in a basket, right? You're actually born in an elevator in this story. You all come down this elevator. You end up in the lobby. You go like, where should we go? You look at the other 25 souls that are all brand new babies too. And you walk out on the street. And of course, now we're in Manhattan. So there's taxis and buses and bicycles and people. And so you go, where do we go? What do we do? So imagine that you say, well, why don't we take a walk down the street and see what happens, right? See what we see. And so you're walking down the street, and a couple blocks down, you see another jumbo building, but it's not a huge 100-floor high rise. It's a big one square block, right? Like huge, low building. And you're like, ooh, that's different and weird. Let's go and check that out. So you go in this building, and there are millions of books in this building. So imagine this is the kind of Akash of, source, right? So they always say the Akashic Records is purely, source energy. It is the information arm of the divine or of source or of God or however you want to say it. So it's an area, it's an arm of the divine. So say we walk in and, there we are, and we're reading books, and we're like, this is cool. This is handy. Let me learn a bunch of stuff before I go off, gallivanting into another multiverse or, creating our own galaxies. Let's go check it out. Let's learn something. And so there you are studying and learning, and then you start to help other new souls who come in, and you become a librarian. You're like, I like this. This is cool. I think I'll hang out in here for a while. This is very nice. And those librarians are your record keepers. So they stay and they help all of the humans or galactics. There's actually the way I hear it, there's like 3 layers or levels of the Akash, right? So we have the Akashic Records, which are more earthly and, or I would say galactic to me in the sense where, like I've downloaded 8 access keys to help people open their own Akashic Records, and each one is related to a kind of a starseed lineage. Okay. So some of that, who you are as a starseed, that energy, some of those memories are part of this more human Akashic realm. And then we have the Akusha and Cosmania. I mean, they go way, 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 way into, I don't even know how many dimensions, because I happen to be much more part of this human realm. This is my purpose, to bring this Akashic Records back to humanity. So, so if you imagine as a kind of new, but now wise soul who's never, has no judgments because we've never been human and we haven't been anything else. We're just pure source energy. That's who your record keepers are, right? So they are not anything else, and they are not, as much as I love you, Mom, and my ancestors like to talk to me, I would rather take advice from my soul's old library, everything that I've ever been and done. So it's a little bit of a different energy. So they're kind of fun to play with. I had a huge experience myself with Suzanne today. A friend of mine who passed about 10 years ago showed up, which was phenomenal. And of course, I almost ruined my makeup by crying. But they're just different realms. So to me, the access into these different realms is phenomenal. So your record keepers are pure beings of light. They've never been human. They've never been anything else, including in the angelic realm or ascended masters. So they are in service only to you, and they're the ones who help answer your questions. So when I teach people how to access their records, that's exactly who we're talking to, right? We're starting to open. I teach a 5-step wisdom prayer system. And one of the steps is using an access key in the form of a sacred prayer. And as I was saying, there's 8 of them. So I usually teach 3 in the first class because, that's overwhelming enough. But again, they're very connected to who we are as starseeds and that galactic beingness of you. But it always puts you in your Akashic records. You're talking to your record keepers, and then you get to ask them all those kind of big questions that you've always had, right? And so what I find often is that when people come like for a reading, or what they want to really learn is, why would I ever pick this family? Or, why did I have that experience? Or maybe it's about their health or something else in their life. But often it's a big why. Right? Anybody ever feel like why? Right? Why me? What was I thinking? Why would I pick that family? And so the way the record keepers explain it is that we write two major kinds of soul contracts, right? So when you decide to come back to Earth, we say, this is why I'm going. Again, not random. I know a lot of my light worker friends, including myself, who has always been like, when I was looking the other way and somebody shoved me in a body. How did that happen? And so I was 3 years old when I realized I was trapped back in a body, and I was pissed. Let me just say, I'm like 3 years old telling my mother, send me back. I don't want to be here. I want to go home. My poor mom was like, oh, really? You're okay. You're home. You're good. You're good. You're good. Thankfully, she was okay with me. Anyway, so one of the big contracts, so we write a whole big plan. Of course, I talk about this in Akasha, and we write this whole big complicated plan that has soul contracts. Some of them have karma attached. A lot of them are about helping and supporting some of our soul family, those souls that we've been running around with forever, literally. And so they're interesting. And what I notice is that there's a couple of really big, powerful contracts on the planet at this time. And it's about really unraveling, unwriting, undoing some of the programs and things that we have been doing for, I don't know, a lot of thousands of years. So those big karmic patterns or programs are about things like abuse and addiction and abandonment and self-worth, right? So those are like 4 that pop in at the moment. so a lot of times a client will come to me and they'll say, why would I pick a family that would abuse me? Why would I pick a family that wouldn't want me and would dump me? You know, why would I pick like this body, this health, this challenge, right? There must be something wrong with me. I must have been a terrible person. And the truth is, no, no. Well, we do as much good as we do, bad. And of course, there is really no such thing as good and bad, but we play every game in the multiverse, if you can imagine it that way, right? Just like when you were a little kid, you wanted to play every game there was. And so that is the game we're playing as humans. So one life you're going to come back and hold all sorts of light and be a healer and be a light worker. Maybe you were part of one of the ancient mystery schools in ancient Egypt or Greece or Persia, one of these beautiful ancient mystery schools from thousands of years ago. And then maybe in another life you were killing people, right? Maybe you were like, oh, those witches, they're bad. I think I'll get them all killed, right? And so, we literally do. There is no one that I've ever met, and I've probably done 10,000 readings over the last 30 years. There is no one who has not, balanced out the world through all of these lifetimes. And so what I find is that when we can start to understand that and feel that I'm not being punished, but I have the possible opportunity to unwrite a program. So again, like I say, what I've seen with so many of the people who have come in to help end abuse on the planet, it's like they say the buck stops here. I'm not going to do that to my children. Maybe you are a wonderful, loving parent, or maybe you don't have children. We make these choices in every kind of way. So what I notice is that as more conscious souls, that we have come to learn, to grow, to make a different choice, to unwrite or undo something.
I know you could take it. Yeah. But I loved all the. I love the books. Yeah. But you're right. Oh.
Oh, that's what it is. I'm like, that is so weird. Is it just all bouncing around? I'm like, did the record keepers get really loud? What the? What's going on here? Oh my gosh. Yeah, right. Nobody, I wonder if Ariel has it out there and forgot to flip it off. Anyway, thank you. So yeah, of course, it's always good to add a little comic relief when you're talking about things like abuse, right? So but really, I mean, these are the things. And so some of the answers to why are because you are such an ancient, wise being of light that you chose to help end that pattern for humanity. And so there are probably millions of light workers on the planet who are ending abuse of all kinds by saying, nope, this buck stops here. I'm not going to let this get passed down in my ancestral lineage anymore. And so it's the truth in so many ways that we are an intricate part of our soul plan, because we literally, of course, wrote that, but we are an intricate part of the bigger picture, which means that you, before you were just a little human, were an architect or a creator being and making choices to have an experience on a planet like this. So it's so funny. The record keepers are like, breathe, Lisa, let that sink in. So what they like us to understand is, of course, I think we are so much more than most of us can ever even imagine. And to me, one of the greatest gifts of learning to access your own Akashic records is being able to go into this realm and see that, feel that, know that, remember that, like totally grok that in every way, and then download it back into your body. All of the wisdom, all of the light that you have held, all of the gifts that you have honed that are held in this Akashic field of yours, that library that's just yours, we can start to access and tap into that and reclaim those gifts. So the easiest way to explain it is it's really a type of soul retrieval. When we have really challenging and traumatic lives, often that soul will splinter with the energy of the trauma, with a horrific death, and that energy splinter. So then we kind of lose some of those gifts and that wisdom and that aspect of the soul. And so when we can go into the records, move outside of time and space, because it's a totally fluid thing in the quantum, we can see, feel, remember the truth. We can heal, release, clear, and delete the old trauma so that you can reclaim those gifts and talents that you had, from that life 5,000 years ago. Right? So that's kind of a cool tool. And so there's a couple more spaces in my workshop if you want to sign up for it tomorrow. If you want to I want to reclaim those phenomenal goddess lives where I did all of that amazing healing and cool tools. You would be surprised how many, of course, clients I've read who have been Essenes, phenomenal healers in parts of the ancient mystery schools, like I say, of Egypt, or have these amazing talents that it feels almost like they're just waiting to remember, actually prove to themselves as that, kind of human part, to get past the belief that that can't be me. So when you kind of see, feel, know, again, kind of grok, I don't know, I know I'm old because I loved Heinlein when I was a teenager. Anyway, that grok to me is that energy. It's almost like stepping into that memory, that life, all of that wisdom. It just integrates back into the body. So let's bring you into the Akash. Let's do a little experience. Where are we time-wise? $20 minutes. Thank you. Okay. It's surprisingly hard to hear. Okay. I'm just asking them how they want to do this. Okay, so I've got so many different guided meditations and tools that the record keepers have given me. I'm kind of like asking them to put it in an order for me. So what I'm getting is we'll open the records. I'm going to bring you into the Akash with me, and then we'll do my rainbow shield or their rainbow shield. Yeah, they want to go that way because the interesting thing with the Akashic Records and all of the tools that we're learning and experiencing is that it deepens as you're in the energy over like the first 15, 20, 30 minutes. So often when I'm teaching a workshop, I'll have you open the records, then I'll teach you something. So you're hanging in the vibration, which is pure love, right? Energy, pure source energy, pure quantum energy. So we get to hang out in it a little bit. We'll open the records, do the rainbow shield again, just fill ourselves with golden light and really strengthen our boundaries so that it's easier to kind of receive information. So the record keepers always say that sovereignty is one of the huge pieces in being able to receive information, which means when you are the queen or the king of your body, your physical body, your energy field, your auric field, when no one else is in here with you, then it's so much easier to hear your record keepers, hear your guides, talk to your ancestors, talk to all your loved ones. It's so much easier to do everything, right? When we have boundaries. And I know other people have said that today, and it is so important. And I probably spent the first 40 years of my life fighting it because I think for a lot of us light workers, it feels heavy and dense down here. I'm like, I don't really want to be here. You know, I'll see if I can hang out up here and still function. But I finally got it because one of its great gifts of being truly grounded and being the sovereign is that it makes it so much easier to be the creator being that you are, to manifest what you want in your life, because we're not manifesting in the fourth, fifth, sixth dimension. We're actually manifesting down here in your life in this third dimensional world. So things then happen. It's quite useful. So all that said, yeah, I love, I often do box breathing. I don't know. I love Suzanne was talking about kind of vagus nerve. Anyway, I often will do into 5, hold for 5, out to 5, which is kind of another kind of breathing, similar, but it really does slow things down and makes it easier. So let's just start a little deep breathing. So I'll just breathe into a count of 4 or 5, whatever it is that's comfortable for your body. And I like to pause, hold it, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, and then inhale, 2, 3, 4, and pause, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. Just a couple more times on your own, just whatever feels comfortable, slowly in, little pause, slowly out. And we ask the Lords of unconditional love to help us center fully in this moment as we create this sacred space. Please wrap us in your love and protection and allow us to travel to the highest realms of the Akasha available to us today. Please help as we lay our multi-dimensional hearts open to divine love and release all resistance. Lords of the Akashic Record, please guide us to the deepest truth we can access now. Support us in healing and releasing that which no longer serves on our true path. And we give great thanks for your divine love and support on this journey today. And just let yourself kind of notice what you notice. I often see a beautiful kind of silvery blue column of light swirling around. Of course, it's coming from the Akash, from the quantum, all the way down around you, guiding you, protecting you, and touching down on our dear Gaia. And when you do this, you're also being able to bridge heaven and earth, right? The quantum and Gaia. And you receive all the beautiful energy and benefits from that phenomenal high vibrational energy. So we're just going to let that energy strengthen and build. And while we do, while we kind of are letting the energy build, nothing for you to do. You get to just hang out, and we're going to fill ourselves with our highest Akashic wisdom and light. And I see that, I find it the easiest way to imagine it is to picture a glass pitcher filled with golden liquid light hovering above your head. And that golden liquid light is all the beautiful wisdom from your Akashic records, all the highest energy and light you can now hold in this moment. So we pour that golden liquid Akashic light right down into our crown chakra, and it pours right through to your toes, filling your feet and your legs all the way up to your thighs, and then filling your torso, everything that's inside your skin, your organs, your chakras, your all of the channels and space in between, all the muscles and all the goo, all the way up to the top of your head. And when you look like a kind of a golden statue, that golden liquid light continues to pour down, filling your auric field. And your aura is a little bit about a foot beneath your physical feet. And I like to imagine mine that's just about a foot all the way around. And that beautiful golden, or that beautiful aura, looks kind of like an oval or maybe an egg, is getting filled up with that golden energy, highest vibration and light of you until it reaches the top and just above your physical head. And now that golden statue is inside a golden egg. So you're beautifully solid with you, only you. This is your energy. This is creating boundaries from the inside out with your highest energy and vibration, your highest Akashic wisdom. And I like to put the rainbow shield on top of that, which is truly activating the layers of your aura, which we sometimes forget about. So on top of your golden egg is a layer of beautiful, vibrant red. And on top of that is orange. And then yellow. And there's that layer of green and blue and indigo. And the final layer is violet. And we really activate this beautiful rainbow shield by stating that no one and nothing may enter my physical body, my auric field, or my energy field without my permission and my consent. And nothing can be taken, removed, or depleted from my physical body, energy field, or auric field without my permission and my consent. Just taking a moment to feel what that feels like. Maybe the first time in a long, long time or ever that it's only you in your field, right? And so now we're going to ask our record keepers. We brought you into the Akashic field of you. And you can ask your Akashic record keepers to help you align. So if there's anything that may be coming up, standing in your way of feeling like I can really align to my higher self, to my guides, and on up into the Akashic field, please help me now to let that go. And again, just notice what you notice. You might see something, someone, a picture of a person might pop in your head, a memory can show up. You might feel energy move or swirl. Of course, whatever it is, it's just perfect. Now, because we're all together in the Akash, this is a very, very powerful time to do some collective healing. The conscious and unconscious collective. So interesting what the record keepers are suggesting that we kind of energetically work on is unraveling, unwriting our story of war. And I know we spoke about that first thing this morning just a little bit. It's been at least probably 10,000-year-old pattern on the planet where we went from beautiful divine feminine to kind of this other energy of war taking over and fighting the imbalance in masculine feminine. So if you want, you can ask your record keepers to help to rebalance that in your field, in your life. That's another one of the big collective contracts that we have, is to help rebalance masculine and feminine energy, to rebalance divine feminine and the divine masculine. As they always say, we can't move into that fifth dimension until we have balance. So it's an important one. So is there something in your body, right? We have a masculine channel and a feminine channel. Is there something in your body that the record keepers can help you balance right now in this moment? Is there something in your relationships in your life that's out of balance? And we ask them to help us to update some of these soul contracts. Some of our soul contracts get stuck in the past. And so help us to update and upgrade these soul contracts. Help us to balance any out of balance contract with anyone in our life. And please let us know if there's something we can consciously do going forward. Is there some forgiveness work to do? Are there some people that are important to let go of? And so interesting that they suggested war, and this feels very personal, but that's what they're saying is, of course, everything is personal and nothing is personal in a way. But when we balance the masculine and feminine energy within our own physical body, and then in our relationships and in our world, that is rippling out into humanity. And the record keepers are suggesting that then that would bring an end to those beliefs, those angers and traumas and programs that run us. And then we ask our record keepers to fill us with the energy and vibration of peace. Please fill us with pure, divine, unconditional love. And just for fun, let's sprinkle in some joy and laughter. So asking that energy and vibration to fill your physical body and your energy field, really bringing it present into your life now. All of that love and joy and peace. Then the record keepers actually want us to do a little bit of work around next steps. So it's funny, I looked at my phone today and it was, February 1st and it was 11/11, and I always love all those ones. And I thought, that feels new, almost in a new way. So we're just going to ask our record keepers to drop in any thought, idea, next steps, anything we can hear, know, feel, right? Just like, I'll be quiet for a minute and I'll let you just download a new something. Or what you're ready to do now. Maybe it's not new. Maybe you've been waiting for this moment. Beautiful. And so we thank the Akashic Record Keepers for all the love, the wisdom, the guidance, the healing, and we close and lock our collective records for now, and so it is. So if you got a great message, write it down. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you all for jumping in there and working on that balance and war and peace. And it's kind of amazing the very weird and cool things we can do, especially ourselves as it ripples out as a collective group. So I always love to do some collective healing. So in your records, you can spend every day opening the records and asking more questions about your next steps. Give me a baby step. How am I supposed to do that? What else can I know? Is there a soul contract with someone to help me? Right? All of those questions. Even in my workshop, I give you like over 30 questions that you can ask to guide yourself in your Akashic records. And if you didn't get Akasha, my very wonderful book, I give you the 5-step wisdom prayer system in here. And if you want to join me live tomorrow, I would so love that. So thank you.
I guess everybody's probably really calm and peaceful and maybe a little blissed out now. But we have a Q&A panel with Lisa, Suzanne, and Marilyn. So if you want to if you feel a need to stand up and just do a quick stretch or something, please do. Thank you. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Thank you. That was wonderful. You got me a little blitzed out too. Oh, okay. All right. If I could ask everybody to just bring it back in, we're coming to the end of the day. As Marilyn's making her way up to the stage. We've done so much this afternoon. We've done so much today. And this is your opportunity to now speak with Marilyn, Suzanne, and Lisa. Ask questions. I have questions. If you don't have questions, have questions. Have a conversation. Megan is here. She'll be bringing the mic around. And I also wanted to just mention before I forget that outside we're going to have, if you've been enjoying the day and this has been meaningful to you, we'd love you to give us some feedback because this is our very first Expand event and we're doing another one in Atlanta in June. And just like all of you, we like to learn and grow and experience even more. So if you have feedback, you can scan the QR code. We'll also be sending an email with the QR code, but we'd really appreciate, you letting us know how it was for you, what worked, any ideas or suggestions are always welcome as well. So I want to mention that. So we're going to open our Q&A. So if you have a question and you'd like to raise your hand, yes. Megan will come around. And yes, if you could please stand, if you don't mind when you ask a question, that would be great.
Thank you. My name is Chris, and this is for Marilyn. All wonderful topics, by the way, full spectrum, amazing. This is about the guide, meditation and connection. I really appreciate you asking us to pick and reach out to a guide that we don't typically go to. So I kind of opened up and I got, okay, let's do the wood snake.
I like that.
Yeah. So might resonate with other people too. It took the form of an anaconda on a caduceus. And
what's a caduceus?
A caduceus is the staff of, I think it's Hermes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
So pine staff. And my question was about managing my vagus nerve. And what I kind of got back was about constriction. That's when its strengths are. And so I'm thinking, okay, does that mean that maybe this tension that I typically have for my IT job or life in general is a protection for empathically receiving too much? Have you heard of that?
I think for you, what I feel like for you, I strip sometimes when I get into this stuff. So they used to call me the stripping medium. I just can't wear certain things. I feel like I can't get the shoe off. I feel like for you, it's about movement. I feel like the snake is offering you to movement. And I agree with you that I feel like you're restricting because you're not in an environment. You don't mind me saying this stuff, right? You're not in an environment that is conducive for your highest soul. It's not like it's a bad environment. It's marrying different things. And I feel like the snake is inviting you to move your body, even when you're sitting. And also what they're saying to me is that, and I know this isn't what we're here for, but it's like allowing yourself free movement when you're sitting like that is going to allow the healing to come in. And it's also going to allow solution to drop in and ideas to drop in. And you're going to be able to do something different. And I really would invite you to move like a snake. Do you do any yoga at all?
No, not that much.
Okay, so I would do a little bit of that. I don't know if
Okay.
that's the question you were asking me, but that's the answer I'm getting. Am I helping you?
You are helping me.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
So I would really ask you, like Stephen had you guys embody the animal. I feel like it's a really great way to release trauma in our bodies when we can do things like that. And I would also invite you to make the sound of what the snake wants to make. It sounds a little crazy, but I feel like you can do it. I can tell with your tie that you're crazy. So just allow it out. Yeah. And you know where else I'm inviting you? Into a bath to allow yourself to feel the rhythm, because I feel like what's happening is your body wants to communicate, your throat and your heart wants to communicate to you. And when you're in that position, you're not allowing the communication. You had a lot of communication here today, didn't you?
I did.
And you don't get it when you're in your normal, well, you probably do, actually. I'm hearing you do.
I get a lot of
Downloads.
yeah, regularly.
Okay.
Even in my IT job. Yeah.
I would love you to continue to work with that snake, but I would love you to continue to move like the snake wants you to move. Okay. Does that help? But
That's
I want
beautiful.
you using sound.
Okay.
Yeah. And not only sing the song it gave you and make sounds like gluttural sounds, whatever, my vocabulary is the worst, gluttural sounds in order to just get that energy out. But thank you.
Okay. So follow on to that, because the second part of so
And
the
if you
song.
have anything to share, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the song, I didn't get any music, but I got like a title. And it was the Sunrise Song. And I was really tempted. I started to, honestly,
I would Google it.
Go into Google because nothing was coming to mind. And then I heard you say, don't go to Google. It's all intrinsic. So I did decide, okay, go a little bit more further inside. And I remember on vacations in Hawaii, I'd love to get up before the dawn and just before the birds were starting to wake up. And I loved walking around and then just hearing the cacophony of bird song. And intrinsically, that makes me think, oh, that might be the message.
I agree. I feel like that's a really good message. And I would invite you to listen, find those sounds and listen to it. And then again, I feel like your clairaudience wants to open up, and speaking your truth to yourself is a big deal, if you're okay with me saying that. So I feel like you just opening up and just even making those sounds, or what would they say to you right now, and speaking it out loud, because I feel like you need to hear your own wisdom is what they're saying.
Thank you.
Yeah. Beautiful. Great work on your own part. Really great work. And you can Google it now if you need to.
Thank you, Chris. There's a lady at the end, Meg, there.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Galen. This is from Marilyn. Same exercise. So the spirit animal was a dog, maybe a ridgeback or a lab type, but the message is what I just don't get. And the message was simply hunter.
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 Hunter?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you not doing that you need to be doing? Where are you not taking action? Where are you not going for what you deserve and desire? If you don't know, it's okay, because I don't have any attachment to any of what I do. But do you understand what they're saying?
Possibly, yeah.
I think that many times it's information we have initially, and then things will open up or come to us. So just that acknowledgement or that information right now is probably perfect. And then something will come to you or show itself to you.
Yeah,
You know,
I honestly, hunting is like you're going for something. So where in your life, and if you're not, it's totally fine, because I appreciate what Ariel says, and I don't like whenever I give anything, but there is something that spirit is inviting you to invite into your life that you're not inviting in. So if you don't agree, it's totally fine. I don't care.
No, I think you're onto something. I just
Okay.
don't know
what it is.
Yeah,
So then dogs, what are dogs? I'm going to just do this real quick because I want to get to as many people as possible. All of us get to them. what do dogs mean to you?
I don't want one.
Great. 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 Why don't you want a dog?
He was a pain in the neck.
Great. Why was he a pain in the neck?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, he was a challenging dog.
Okay, what's challenging in your life right now? What's a pain in the neck right now? And if it's somebody sitting next to you, you don't have to say.
No. No, it wasn't him, but the dog that I saw was my son's dog, and my son's in spirit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So it wasn't, no, it's all good. He's here. So it wasn't the dog that I didn't get along with. It was this dog sort of combo plate that was his dog.
Okay, so I'm going to just go on because we don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to give this to you. What's your name again?
Galen.
Galen, what I feel like is happening here is that there may be something that you can do for other parents who have lost kids, and maybe they have to make some type of peace with it. I'm just going to offer that up to you and let you decide what you want to do with it. But the dog being a pain in the ass, and then people lose their kids, and there might be some aspects of healing because the kid was a pain in the ass sometimes, or whatever it is. Just invite in, how can I be if I want to help other parents who have lost children and who may be struggling with the relationship they had with their kids before they left the earth. Does that help you at all?
Spot on.
Okay, great. That's all I need to know. And thank you. And you don't have to say that. Really, I have no attachment.
I'm already involved doing that. So
Great.
You're
Keep
spot
doing
on.
it. There's more here, but there's just so much time we have, but you will figure it out on your own. So just be in the energy of it. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Other questions?
I think, first of all, I want to thank everybody, all the speakers. I really appreciate all the guidance we got today. This question is for Suzanne. Actually, when I'm meditating or asking or seeking guidance, how do I differentiate between, is that my mind playing with me? Is that my higher self, or I'm seeking like guidance from maybe my loved one or someone?
This is something that I addressed briefly earlier. There's a knowing when it's a higher self. It's fresh, it's innovative, and it comes without thinking. It just arises. It's just there. A really great practice you can do when meditating is you ask higher consciousness. And I try not to differentiate. Is this my higher self? Is this a guide? Is it helpful is what matters. And you say to spirit, put something in my hand right now. And you get an image. And it's surprising. And sometimes you don't know why you got that. And then you say, what's the meaning in that? Why did you, whoever you are, give me that? And then you're going to get a message that's very helpful. You do practices like that, and then you'll be able to tell the difference between, oh, that was given to me by spirit versus, oh, maybe that's one of my thoughts that's just recycling. So you learn by differentiating.
Got it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Right, second row, please.
Hello, this message is for Suzanne. I believe that you alluded to earlier the telepathy tapes, and I'm on episode 9 myself.
Okay, watching them, listening.
Listening,
Yeah.
and I work with students with autism and intellectual disabilities, so I'm really relating a lot to those. And I just wondered what your opinion on that was.
I have no doubt whatsoever that these children and adults with autism are wired differently. The reason we all have this shared experience right here, right now, is because our brains are all wired pretty much the same, so that we all would say that's black and that's orange and it's warm, and we have these experiences that we all understand each other. But autistic people, their souls are operating the same as ours are. if we were to change the wiring in our brain, our souls would still be perceiving the same as anybody else. Doesn't matter how your brain is wired. So these beautiful souls with autism are perceiving differently. If dogs perceive the world differently than we do. Honeybees, if they would go in a room with a fluorescent light, they see strobe lights. That's their reality. We see a solid light. Somebody with autism, their brain is wired differently. So it's a different filter of what to us is a shared experience, but becomes their own experience. So they are able to discern frequencies that most of us can't. So they're receiving communication, and it's absolutely natural to them to know what their parents are thinking before they even say it, because they're kind of in a between state between the human normal shared waking experience and what the soul already is doing with all of us communicating soul to soul. So I know that's just a natural ability for them. And we're all
I feel the
moving
same way.
towards that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions?
This is for Suzanne. I wonder if it's appropriate for you to help me understand or interpret a dream I had regarding a relative.
I'd rather not do a personal one here, and
Okay.
I'm not a dream expert. I would want to tune into your loved one and interpret it. So let's not do that.
Okay.
We'll stick to questions that will really apply
Perfect.
to everyone.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Question, Meg, the one over way in the back with the gray bun. Yeah. This side could ask more questions too, if you want.
Hi, ladies. Thank you for this time. I have a question about journaling. Now, when I journal, I started writing, and it's actually for all three of you, because I'd really like to know if you could share this with me. I started manually writing, and when I get started, I could write for hours. It's just nonstop. And yes, I do look at it afterwards and get a lot of hits and wisdom that I need at the current time. And now I'm starting to use my computer, which that's a long story. I kind of have to, because I got a new puppy and I'm limited on time, and I have to kind of sneak it in after my meditation, because if he knows that I'm doing anything else other than closing my eyes, he's all over me like a cheap suit. So I've started doing that, and I'm really trying to get into it. And I'm thinking, well, this would be so much easier because I am a fast typist. But what do you ladies do? Because is there a better way? Do you connect better when you handwrite? Or does it really matter? Can I do the computer? I mean, I can do anything. I know that. One or the other. Well,
Since
not
I'm
right
holding
now
this, I'll
because of the
start.
puppy, but-
And the puppy will grow up. But so I actually do teach my students in my Akashic Record class to open the records, ask the question, don't think, and just let it flow to and through you. So usually in the beginning, that physical energy almost of to and through you using your hand is easier. But then what I've also found is that as we trust, right? And we have all that faith that I'm getting all this information, doesn't matter. You can go to typing. So it feels like it's more you at the moment, like just, yeah, get out of your own way. You can type, you can channel it just as easily typing.
Okay, great.
Yeah, something to add, if I may. I was so pleased to see recently the state of California, I don't live here, but it acknowledged what I know from this writing practice. They had stopped teaching cursive writing in schools.
Yes.
They brought it back on because they realized it does help develop the right hemisphere of the brain. And the kids were not having this fully developed experience of wholeness. So they're teaching it again. So yes, exactly what you were saying. Start off with through the body, really getting into that expanded state. But once you're used to that, I get my daily messages every morning that I put on the Awaken Way app, and I hear, pick up your iPad, and I know it's time. And I just open an email to myself, type their message and send it to myself so I can cut and paste it later. But I couldn't have done that in the beginning. That would have brought me out of the
Okay.
expanded state.
That's really helpful. Thank you.
The only thing I would add is I also do recording. So you could speak out loud and record it. And it's a really cool, that's how I channel. But I don't need to add anything to these two ladies.
Interesting. Okay, great.
I appreciate you bringing up the speaking out loud because I do that as well. And I don't think everybody thinks about that, but there's so much as if you just speak out what can come through you. Yeah, absolutely. Questions? Here's Meg. Meg, the lady in the back, right over there with her.
Hi, I want to say thank you to all of the speakers. One of my questions, which is maybe a little weird, everybody is coming in through nature or animals or Akashic records or spirit guides or deceased loved ones. My question is, because I love all of it, but I'm wondering if it's just me getting to source or all of us getting to source, and it doesn't matter what door you walk through. Okay, so I am on target.
So can I answer that one? Because you basically just explained the whole premise of the Common Sentience book series, because there's so many ways and we're very different and we're all still alike. So in the series we have 16, but there's more to come. So yes, it's whichever way resonates with you, and many people, multiple ways resonate, and it's all perfect. So thank you. Anyone who hasn't asked a question today that would like to ask a question? Meg, the lady right here in the green. Oh, sorry, the glasses. And then back to the lady that I'm sorry, in the gray.
Oh, this is just from Marilyn. Can you tell me again the name of the spirit guide started with a P that's for healing?
Oh. I'll give you something even better because it's a plug.
Okay.
Go to marilynalauria.com/guides, or when you go into that QR code, you're going to be able to find it.
Okay.
But her name is Pokan.
Pokan. Okay.
But you may not, because you'll pick a number from 1 to 10. You may not find her, but they're all listed there.
Okay.
But her name is Pokan.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, because in your goodie bags or in your tote bags, there's so many offers from so many of the speakers, special gifts. Marilyn, what she just talked about, her guides, Lisa, Suzanne, they have offers. We have seeds, bee-friendly seeds from Anna Maria. We have keychains from Todd and Jackie. We have bracelets. Some of you will have bracelets in there. We have all kinds of really wonderful gifts. And we also have 50% off our Sacred You courses, which are online courses. And Marilyn has 2 courses on Sacred You, Communicate with Your Soul Guides, and Live and Thrive with Your Psychic Gifts. Lisa has an Akashic Healing Prayers. Anna Maria has a course 3. Stephen has a course. Many Common Sentience authors have courses. And so you get 50% off. That's 50. And that's in your tote bag as well. So there's many ways besides the books to not only visiting their websites and all the wonderful work that the speakers are doing, but you can also access at an incredible discount their online courses through Sacred You. So I'll put that plug in since you mentioned that. So, okay, next question. We have just about 7-8 minutes left.
This is kind of embarrassing, but I've been married numerous times and had few engagements, so I've just been, I don't know,
busy.
Lucky in love.
So that's where all my men are. You've been taking all my men.
Said my picker's broke. So, but I think maybe for Suzanne,
You got to get this.
what happens when I get to the other side? Am I going to be with somebody, or do I have to share? Do I have to share, or how's that? Do you know? How does that work? I worry about that all the time.
Yeah, I just hear, as I ask that question, they say affinity. You'll just resonate to the soul that you're meant to be with then. And I'm sure that you'll see some of those because there'll be some unfinished business, but don't worry about it here. It'll sort itself out.
Yeah, just enjoy yourself while you're here. But
my men.
But that's a great question. And who was the one, I forget who talked about privacy. It was you, Suzanne? Could you just talk about that for a second? Because I missed part of that and I think about that.
That they absolutely see us, and I'm told they don't watch us having sex, but they do visit people in the shower a lot because the water gets us in an environment where we can sense them, and that we need to get over the body hang-ups because they're in spirit now, and it's not about what it's about here. But my funny story was this couple came to have a reading in a hotel room during a conference, and they sat down, and I was bringing through their son. I said, this is the strangest thing. He's showing me what looks like a big bandage wrapped around the hand. It's just white, and it's going around, around, around like this. And he's going like, it's a bandage. This is a current event. He's giving me my symbol for current event. And the mother says, oh, this just shows his warped sense of humor. And I said, why? She said, because on the way here, I stopped to go to the bathroom. I wrapped the toilet paper around my hand, and I said, oh, it looks like a bandage. So, that I don't like, that's the story I wasn't going to share with you earlier, because we don't want to know that people are watching us, but don't moms take their little kids in the toilet with them all the time, right? So we get over our own private stuff because there is nothing private across the veil. They know your thoughts once they leave. They know them here, and you know them without speaking when you get across the veil. So why would we be lying to each other anyway? Up-level our thoughts. It's why we're here. Honesty, integrity, and love.
And our dogs watch us in the bathroom too, right? Okay, we have time for maybe one more question. The lady in gray, and then if we have time, the lady next to her, right there, Meg. So you don't have to walk too far, sorry.
Hi, I think this is for anyone who would want to answer, but I think there's a lot of struggles with mental health these days. And I had an experience, with a partner who actually, took his own life through mental health. And in the last couple of years, he was having just talking a lot about what we're talking about today with not a lot of background or experience on his part in the past. And it was just really hard to support him, and then also see a lot of what he was talking about was making sense. And I just know that there's a lot of people anyways in my community that are experiencing a lot of mental health struggles. And I wonder what suggestions you would have with just how to be with people, how to support them at this time, because it does feel like there's a lot of struggle happening.
I do have something to say to that. There's two things I'm going to say, but one thing is, this is why it's so important that all of you get out there and do your work. Because I'm in therapy. I've been in therapy for many, many years off and on, and I've been through many different types of therapies. And traditional thinking, you talk about autistic children, seeing how gifted they are and how amazing they are, and they're the healers. And we need all of you, if you're not already doing it, to get out there and do this work so that there's more of us out there helping people who think they might be crazy to have a different way of thinking, a different way of being, a different way of understanding life, a different way of looking at life. And that comes from all these gifts. So I hope that helps. And I've had exes that have taken lives and stuff and won. So I get it. And I've had my own mental struggles. So
thank you.
I got to see Wolf's message in the break, the documentary that's coming out. The subtitle is Two Worlds, One Heart. He came to me and he said he was diagnosed mentally ill. And I didn't know this. He was the most powerful soul I've ever brought through. And he said, it was very busy in there. And then his dad said, that's what he always said. And he showed me a picture of Wolf doing that. So this film itself will help. We're really hoping that people will donate when they see this film, because it's going to mental health organizations. We want mainstream mental health to think maybe labeling somebody crazy is not realizing they're wired differently.
You know, one of the things, of course, I've seen with so many clients is we have gifts very young also. And so we are told often by our families and whatever friend that we are crazy, right? Because they don't see dead people or any other spirits or, right? I mean, I at 3 thought I was pretty nuts because I just wanted to go back home and I didn't want to be here. And my parents thought I was crazy. Thank God they didn't tell me that though. But seriously, the gifts are going to open and open and open, I think, so fast on the planet in these next 3 to 5 years that people are going to be having a lot of experiences. And so knowing that gifts are opening, that just giving them love, giving them the common sentience book so they can realize and see there's so many gifts, there's so many dimensions, there's so much to experience and feel, that hopefully all those pieces are very, very helpful, and to really, understand that we've never had a time in history like this time in history. And so I believe that things are going to look so different in even this next year, 2, 3. And so being the love, being the support, being the compassion, helping people to realize that there's a whole huge multiverse out there. And there's things you can do and learn and study and, find that kind of help, more psychic, energetic help. So, so much love.
One quick thing, real quick, because this is for all of us, and I love what Lisa and Suzanne said. I had doctors send me parents with kids because they would have been diagnosed schizophrenic and they weren't. And luckily, the doctor was open enough and trusted me enough. And the more that we get to talk to those types of people, we're going to have less of these diagnoses. So I love what you guys said. Thank you. I just want to share that.
That brings us to the close of the half an hour, and I think it's probably a really beautiful place to probably complete the Q&A, with those thoughts about reaching out and extending love and compassion and understanding, and sharing when we share our gifts and we share our stories, we allow other people to realize that they aren't crazy, for lack of a better word, or they're not weird, or there's not something wrong with them. We're really expanding our awareness of who we are and what our collective individual and collective experience can be. And to me, that's the work, right? That's what these books are for. That's what this event is for. That's the work to help all of us kind of come together and truly know the magnificence of who we are and this world and this universe that we're a part of. So thank you for asking that question and bringing us to that point. I think it's a really beautiful place to complete. So I'm going to ask the authors to come up, and hopefully Anodea is here because she's doing, oh, there you are. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking to the left and you came in on the right. It kind of like how spirit works sometimes, right? And Stephen should be here somewhere, but so we're going to have a closing with the goddess. And before we do that, I'd like to ask everyone to give all of the authors, if you could, please, a round of applause. Yeah, I'm going to get emotional now. Thanks, guys. That just, when spirit is talking to you or guiding you or nudging you or shoving you or, whatever they're doing, just to be able to follow, to be able to believe in yourself, to be able to know that what you're feeling is so deep and so profound and so true. And to be able to follow that, is sometimes it's hard. And knowing that this experience and these beautiful beings up here and the everything we shared today was meaningful to all of you, you know, what more is there, right? That's really what it's all about. So thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And thank you to all of you. And we're going to close with the goddess, because as Anodea said, you know, she is birth, she is life, she is renewal. So so enjoy.
Thank you. Oh, let's take a deep breath. It's been a long and full day. So let's actually stand up and stretch. Just reach up to the heavens and all the forms of the divine that can come down and tumble into us through the Akashic Records, through spirit, through souls that have departed, through nature, through all the ways that we have been talking about. And just call that down into you and down into your heart and all the way down into your body. And let's just stamp it into the earth a little bit. And just get back down into our bodies. You ready for a little bit more on the goddess? Okay. So for those who weren't here this morning, I talked about Bridget, the goddess Bridget. This is her time. And she is the goddess of poetry, smithcraft, and healing. So our closing, we're going to start with a poem and we're going to end with a little healing. And I didn't write this poem either. It's written by Bruce Silverman. It's called In the God Kitchen. Out of the Arabian desert 4,000 years ago came an unknown, monolithic, jealous, and all-powerful male deity. We embraced him, grouchy moods and violent temper and all, for 30 centuries, until Joseph Campbell and Starhawk informed us that he had really been a she for the previous 6,000 years. Today's door-knocking evangelists, however, never got the message. They are still selling a theology as black and white as their suits, but far more threadbare. More recently, some of us sought the gentler version of divinity, the trusty old Middle Eastern goddesses to temper his distemper. We experimented with varieties of that all-nurturing Earth Mother, soup ladle in hand, until we read the fine print. Warning, this product contains no MSG, but is made in kitchens run by Kali and Pele, and has traces of fire, skulls, and dragons that may cause severe spiritual dyspepsia. What we long to stuff into a grocery bag of religious certainty and monotheism has more recently spilled all over the God kitchen into finger-licking splats of neo-paganism, steadfast drips of kosher-style Buddhism, frozen chunks of scientific agnosticism, and other concoctions, both yummy and distasteful. But there is no cookbook that captures the savory taste of the divine. Words make tired recipes and cannot describe the sumptuous feast. My advice, my friends, is to abandon the crusty old word pantry altogether and head for the nearest desert, where you will be seized by a presence that is eternally becoming. There you will encounter glorious displays of deep purple dreams and revelations, for as earth is now Gaia and sky is now cosmos, we can't keep flexing those Bronze Age brain muscles by giving you-know-who a gender, a proper name, and a Facebook profile.
It's time to drink the potion that will rid us of the notion of trying to define what sparks the fires of creation and the swells of the ocean. So that was Bruce Silverman. So I want to, yeah, he's a good poet. So I want to speak a little bit about what does it mean to give deity gender? And this is a chapter in my book, Goddess. Because as you know, as we talk about a feminine form of the divine, there's many people who would say, and there's a level where this is true, does the divine even have a gender? Is that something humans throw onto it because we come in bodies and we want to label that? And I think that there's something very important about it because of the values that are represented. Now, whether those values are artificially assigned or not, when God is a he, then everything divine, we're really losing half of creation. In fact, I say a religion without a goddess is halfway to atheism. So we are, you know, we could say there is some kind of androgynous divine spark that is way beyond gender, which I think that is true on a level. But as things differentiate and start to come down into our plane of existence, they differentiate into light and dark, and summer and winter, and male and female, and all these different aspects in many ways so we can relate to them. And in this, what I want to say is that the religion of the goddess is not just for women. A lot of people think, oh, that's just women doing that girly stuff. You know, they get together and they sing songs and they wear frilly clothes and they invoke the goddess. And a lot of men say, you know, not for me. But having been in, you know, the neo-pagan community for many years, I can tell you that there's a lot of men in that, and they are very happy men. They are free to be themselves and not have to be in a strict masculine that is actually very narrow definition in our culture. It doesn't give you much room. They're with women who know who they are, earn their own money, don't depend on them, and can meet them as equals. It's generally a sex positive community. It's pleasure positive. It's celebratory. It's colorful. It's musical. There's dancing. It's embodied. That men are very happy. And many times over and over, I heard people say, this is like coming home. So what I want to close with is this idea of coming home to the goddess, which is what I talk about at the end of the book. That home, the way I look at home is it stands for Holy Order of Mother Earth. And that there is an order, there is a divine order in nature that is supremely intelligent, that has figured out so much more than we have begun to figure out, you know, that has full employment and full recycling and, you know, full regeneration and does it with beauty and wonder and awe. And so this intelligence that's in nature, there is an order, and that order is holy. And that's the order of Mother Earth. And that doesn't deny anything. In fact, it's said that Gaia was first, but then she desired a lover, and Uranus, which was the sky, embraced her because the sky embraces the earth. And in that embrace, all the creatures of Gaia came to being. And so as we look at this, bringing both genders into a partnership society, we have to equal them up. And I feel that we are coming into, it doesn't maybe look like it sometimes, but we're coming into the age of the heart. And that we've been in the age of the power. I say we're moving from the love of power to the power of love as an organizing principle. But to come into the heart, we need a balance of masculine and feminine. We need both. We need them working together in partnership. So there's a lot in this for men too. And another thing that we can look at is myth and science. The myths and the stories once held the people together and gave them reason. And some of those myths were, you know, they didn't have a grounding in our everyday reality because they were allegories, but they held a culture together. And then when we came along with science, humanity took a giant step forward on their right leg, you might say. And we knew that some things we believed in myth was, not quite true. And we had science. And at that time, we rejected myth. And in fact, the word myth has come to be equated with the word lie. Oh, that's just a myth. That's just a lie. And we have a lot of issue around lies and truth right now in the world, don't we? So I believe that science tells us what and how, but it doesn't tell us why. And the myths tell us why. They tell us what something is. They tell where the place of things falls in the holy order of Mother Earth. And another way to look at this masculine, feminine, not to put too fine a point on it, but biologically, men have a thing and women have a place. Men have given us a world full of marvelous things. We have computers and cell phones and airplanes and cars and hospitals and trains and stereos and, marvelous world full of things. Have they not? And not that women haven't been part of that too, but it's largely the masculine world that has produced these things. They're oriented to that. But in the process, they've trashed the place. And it is now, as I said, masculine can be seen as time and women as space and place. And, when women come someplace, they want to decorate. They want to make it look pretty. They want to make the space something special. That's part of making the world sacred again. It's part of coming back home. And so now what we want to do is a little healing of place, because the place of this earth needs a lot of healing, does it not? And so Bridget, in her association with healing, it's her water. She was queen of the well, and the well had fires burning until the 18th century. Then they were put out by whoever was king at the time, King Henry VIII, I think it was. And they were finally relit in 1996 on this day, February 1st. And they have been burning ever since 1996 again. But they had been burning since antiquity and carried by these, they've said to be Vestal virgins. I don't know if they were or not. But they kept the fire going 24 hours a day. And at Bridget's well, they keep fires going all the time. And it is said that the waters have healing quality. And I was going to bring in a big thing of water and have you each come up, and it just became kind of unworkable in a situation like this. But another aspect of Bridget is that people take a little piece of cloth and they take it outside for the night, right at this time of year, and they ask for healing, and they tie it to a tree or something. And then they get the cloth the next day, and you say that you can use this as a bandage, or you can, just carry it in your pocket and it will bring your healing. So I have a little piece of cloth for everyone. But to bring the healing into this cloth, we're going to invoke Bridget again. And invocation and evocation is something else I talk about in the book, that to call on the goddess, to invoke, is to call in, to call that energy into consciousness, to call in the form so that we can embody it. So we call it into ourselves, invocation. And when you call it in, then you are ready for evocation. E means out. And that means that the goddess, or whatever you're calling, you could call a god form, you could call a fairy, you could call a, departed soul. You're calling in and you let it speak through you. So you heard me do this poem this morning of the invocation. We're all going to do that right now. So it's on a card, and it has a little Celtic border on the card and a little picture of the goddess Bridget, and everyone got one this morning if you still have it. And experience this calling out that you are really calling Bridget in for the purpose of healing. So y'all got your card, or look on with someone that does? Okay, let's take a deep breath in and ground ourselves. And we'll say it together. Blessed Bridget, Goddess of fire, in this dark time, to you we aspire. Gentle goddess of light and love, the promise of springtime, the grace of a dove. The warm, soft rays of returning light, the promise of morning from long winter's night. We call you, awaken, and really call to her. We want all our voices together. We call you, awaken. Your time, it is here. Your sisters await you. Your brothers are near. Bright sun arising, your feminine power, prayers in this morning hour. Poetry, smithcraft, and healing are thine. The fire in our hearts, the voice of time. The crone's reemergence from slumber and death. The strength of renewal in your sacred breath. Bring us your wisdom, your power and will. Teach us to serve you with strength and with skill. And now that we have called her in, call out, we'll just take a few of these one at a time, something in the world that needs healing. And as you call it out, I request that you state it in a way that has a positive turn. So for example, if we were looking at the Palestinians returning to Gaza and finding rubble, we could say the Palestinians finding inspiration to build a new world, right? So that's taking something and putting a positive spin on it. And then after each one, we're going to say, where's my notes here? Returning light, set things right. And this is the healing. So as the light is waning to summer solstice, that light shines on things and it sets things right. Just like you set a bone right and you put a cast around so it can heal. So what do you want to call out that needs healing? And put it in the positive. Even though it's addressing something that needs healing, put it in the healing sense. You follow me? Yeah. Equality for all. Returning light, set things right. Everybody call that out. Yeah. What's another one?
LA fire, but I'm trying to think of how to do a positive.
Well, let's go homes for the homeless first. Homes for the homeless. Returning light, set things right. Rebuilding LA in an incredible, creative way. Returning light, set things right. What else? We have each other's back. Returning light, set things right. Full bellies for every child. Returning light, set things right. Peace in Ukraine. Returning light, set things right. Political integrity. Returning light, set things right. I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Did y'all hear that? I'm a little.
Neurodiversity and anyone who's wired in a different way, like
Yeah.
saying that they are matter.
How about affirming diversity? Returning light, set things right. Reclaiming our sovereign divinity. Returning light, set things right. Eastern and Western medicine combining and working together. Returning light, set things right. Trusting ourselves, returning light, set things right. Okay. Healing for the environment. Returning light. Set things right. Climate stability. Returning light. Set things right.
Safety and care for all animals.
Returning light. Set things right.
Collaborating with nature.
Returning light. Set things right.
That we are all hearing each other.
Returning light. Set things right.
Awakening with ease.
Returning light. Set things right.
We're all seeing each other.
Returning light. Set things right. Okay, let that settle a moment. Let the cloak of the goddess wrap around you as healing. And this morning also you were given a page that had some words to a song. We're going to end with a song. And as we sing this song, one at a time, you can come up and pick one of these cloths to take home for healing and hang on a branch or hang outside on your railing or something. And the cloths are blue and yellow. Part of it happens to be what I had. And as I was doing it, I thought, oh, those are the colors of Ukraine. And I also, as I was cutting them up, saying the blue you can take for cooling something, like if you have inflammation or pain or anxiety, you want to cool that. So pick a blue cloth. The yellow is for energizing. If you have depression or you're low energy or you want to bring power to something you're creating, then pick the yellow cloth and just come up one at a time and take these and go back to your seat. We'll keep the song going while everybody does that. So it's the song of the well, and this is Bridget's well. We will never, never lose our way to the well. Just sing that part. We will never, never lose our way to the well of her memory, of her memory, and the power of her living flame. It will rise again, same melody, like the grasses, through the dark, through the soil, to the sunlight. We will rise again, we are thirsting for the waters of life. We are moving, we will live again. We will never, never lose our way to the well of her memory and the power of her living flame. It will rise again. Keep it going. I don't want to be alone up here. Like the grasses, through the dark, through the soil, to the sunlight. We will rise again. We are thirsting for the waters of life. We are moving. We will live again. We will never, never lose our way to the well of her memory and the power of her living flame. It will rise again, like the grasses, through the dark, through the soil, to the sunlight. We will rise again. We are thirsting for the waters of life. We are moving. We will live again. I can't hear you. We will never, never lose our way to the well of her memory and the power of her living flame. It will rise. We will live again, like the grasses, through the dark, through the soil, to the sunlight. We will rise again. We are thirsting for the waters of life. We are moving. We will live again. We will never, never lose our way to the well of her memory and the power of her living flame. It will rise again, like the grasses, Through the dark, through the soil, to the sunlight, we will rise again. We are thirsting for the waters of life. We are moving. We will live again. We will never, never lose our way to the well of her memory and the power of her living flame. It will rise again like the grasses, through the dark, through the soil, to the sunlight. We will rise again. We are thirsting for the waters of life. We are moving. We will live again. Is that the last of it? And if anybody didn't get one, we'll leave it on the stage. And so treat this little piece of cloth as a sacred object. Be sure to leave it outside so Bridget can bless it. Sometimes people would leave a sheet or a blanket or a cloak outside and then use that, but often they would do this, and then, you know, if you had a headache, tie it around your head, it would heal that. And so the goddess blesses all of you. Bridget can also be seen as a bridge between the worlds, the world of the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown, the light and the dark, the masculine and feminine, past and future. So we make that bridge within ourselves because we can reach into both worlds. And we can find that light that is returning. And we can find that healing. And we can speak in poetry that takes us into a different world. And so let's all take a deep breath in and just sing an Om as we close out this conference. And many thanks to the speakers, and many thanks to Ariel and your vision to bring the Common Sentience series together. And many thanks to all of you for spending your day here. And let us just take all that has happened here and send it out into the world wherever it's needed. Deep breath in. So be it, it is done. Thank you.